Charlie, you got any WD-40 in your office? Rick, you have any
Or
WD-40?
duct tape.
Baby oil.
You might be surprised what's in Charlie's office.
Yeah. Maybe I don't wanna know.
No, you don't.
We wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you don't. Get the cane.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the City of Wichita Public Safety Briefing, Thursday, July the 19th. Several items to cover today. I want to see, actually they're all involving robberies. So we're going to cover these robberies that occurred over the last 24 hours. And then also have a special guest, Captain Brent Allred with the Wichita Police Department Persons Crimes. He is the commander. We'll be here to talk about some arrests and some follow-up on some robberies. So let's get right to the robberies. First one is going to be case number 18C46413. This is an aggravated robbery from a person. Occurred in the 900 block of South Bleckley last night at approximately 10:30 with 2 arrests. Great work by the officers involved in this case. Approximately 10:30, officers responded to a burglary just occurred call, again at a residence in the 900 block of South Bleckley. When the officers arrived, they contacted a 68-year-old female, and she reported to the officers that she was approached by an unknown male and female suspect and reported that the male was armed with a long gun. She stated that the male demanded the victim's purse and then grabbed and forcibly removed the purse from the victim. The victim was not injured in this incident. After the purse was taken, both suspects fled on foot. The victim called 911 and gave a detailed description of the suspects, allowing an officer responding to the call to observe the suspects at the U.S. Gas business in the 800 block of South Oliver. The male suspect was taken into custody after a short foot pursuit, and the female suspect was also taken into custody as well. The 17-year-old male suspect was arrested and booked for aggravated robbery, obstruct, and outstanding warrants. The 14-year-old female suspect was documented as an active runaway and was taken to the children's home regarding the case. So great work again by the officers involved in this case, making an arrest on this case, and also good job from the victim, giving detailed description to our 911 dispatchers, so the officers were able to locate and identify the suspects involved.
So 14-year-old female and a 17-year-old male, is that correct?
That's going to be a 15-year-old male. I looked at that.
Oh, it is?
Sure, just put the wrong age.
Oh, okay. 15-year-old male. It'd be a 15-year-old male and a 14-year-old female. Thank you.
Do we know if the female is going to face charges as well?
Not at this time, but it's something that will be presented to our district attorney's office that will make any charging decisions.
And was a weapon found on that 15-year-old male?
No weapon has been recovered at this time.
And you said the victim reported it was a long gun of
Correct.
some sort?
Mm-hmm.
How much time was it between when the robbery occurred and when they were
Well, they occurred in the 900 block of South Bleckley. They located them in the 800 block of South Oliver, which is not far. So it was while the officers were responding.
Again, in situations like this, you always remind people to give you a very detailed description. Talk
Yeah.
about that one more time.
Yeah, just a detailed description of individuals involved, clothing, height, weight, sex, race, anything specific that may stand out, scars, tattoos, something not easily removable on a vehicle, maybe a different colored door or a bumper sticker, something that would help responding officers to identify that vehicle or those individuals as possibly being involved in the incident that you're reporting. And in this case, the detailed description allowed officers to see and identify the suspects in the 800 block of South Oliver and make an arrest.
And this victim that you mentioned, she was approached by these 2 people. Was she going home? Was she just
She was
walking?
outside of her residence. I don't know if she just got home or what the circumstances were, but she was outside of her residence there in the 900 block of South Bleckley. All right, second case. This is going to be a robbery of a commercial house. This occurred at the Quick Trip in the 100 block of South Rock Road yesterday afternoon at approximately 2. Officers responded to a strong arm robbery call again at the Quick Trip, 100 block of South Rock Road. When officers arrived, they made contact with a 36-year-old male employee who stated that an unknown suspect had entered the business, waited in line, and then approached the counter and demanded money. Money was given to the suspect, who then fled on foot. Fortunately, there were no injuries in this case, and we're asking for the community's assistance. If they have any additional information on this case, to please call Crime Stoppers 267-2111 or detectives at 268-4407. Suspect's going to be an unknown white male, 20 to 30 years old, 5'7", slim build, brown hair, red bandana covering his face, a white t-shirt, white shorts, white socks, white shoes, and fled east from the business.
Do you have any surveillance video?
They do have video at the Quick Trips, and so that's something our investigators will be working to obtain. And if there's something that they feel is necessary to distribute and helps to identify somebody, we'll definitely get that out.
So no weapon on this person.
There's-
What did he say to the employee, I guess?
I don't have the specifics of what he said. No weapon was seen or indicated, but the suspect did demand money.
What time of day was this?
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's pretty brazen. That Quick Trips are usually busy all the time.
Sure,
I
yeah,
guess, you know,
yeah.
someone to come in and do that.
And that's why we're asking if anybody has any information, if they happen to see anything or saw something suspicious, to please call us. Again, Crime Stoppers 267-2111 or detectives 268-4407. All right. Also, I'm sorry.
What was
Do
the
you have
case number on that?
Oh, that one was 46291. We also had a robbery at Quick Shop, 2700 block South Oliver, early this morning about 5 a.m. Case number 46466.
Can you repeat that? 46466?
46466, yes. About 5 a.m. this morning, officers responded to an armed robbery call at the Quick Shop, the 2700 block of South Oliver. They arrived and made contact with a 24-year-old female employee who stated two unknown suspects entered the business. One of the suspects pulled out a handgun and was demanding property. Money and cigarettes were taken by the suspects, who then fled the business on foot. There were no injuries in this case. The descriptions I have right now are two unknown black males. That's all the description I have on this case so far. We are again asking if anybody has any information on this case. Please call our detectives 268-4407 or Crime Stoppers 267-2111.
I heard something that these two might be involved in a similar robbery at the Circle K or whatever it is at South Seneca.
I'm going to cover the Circle K right now. Talk about a robbery that occurred at the Circle K about 4:15 in the morning. Again, any investigation, our robbery investigators work very hard to see if any of these are connected. That's something that they look at on each of these robberies. We don't have any indication that they are, but that's something that our detectives will thoroughly evaluate. The aggravated robbery from the Circle K is 46465. This occurred in the 500 block in North Seneca about 4:15. Officers responded to an armed robbery at the Circle K convenience store. When they arrived, they made contact with a 50-year-old female employee who stated that an unknown suspect had entered the business, pointed a handgun at her, and demanded property. The suspect did flee the store on foot without taking any property. There was a 20-year-old female employee who was not working at the time, but was in her vehicle at the front of the store and was approached also by an unknown suspect who demanded her cell phone. The victim's phone was taken, and both the suspect that was inside the store and this other suspect that approached the vehicle fled on foot. Through the investigation, officers were able to recover the phone in the area of 3rd and Dodge. There were no injuries in the case, and again, we're asking for our community to help us as we investigate this situation. If you have any information, know any information, please call Crime Stoppers 267-2111 or Detective 268-4407. First suspect's an unknown black male in mid-20s, 5'7" to 6 foot, thin build, was wearing dark jeans, gray hoodie, and had a clown skeleton mask. The second one's an unknown white male, early 20s, 5'11", thin build, black sweatpants, gray hoodie, black and white bandana covering his face, sunglasses, had a ball cap, white gloves, backpack, and was armed with a handgun.
Can you do that one more time, the suspect description?
On both of them?
Yes.
First one's an unknown black male, mid-20s, 5'7" to 6 foot, dark jeans, gray hoodie, and had a clown skeleton mask. Second one, an unknown white male, early 20s, 5'11", thin, black sweatpants, gray hoodie, black and white bandana covering his face, sunglasses, ball cap, white gloves, a backpack, and armed with a handgun. Again, no any information on any of these robberies. We always ask for the community's assistance to help us in these investigations. Call Crime Stoppers 267-2111 or detectives at 268-4407. Any questions on these that I've given so far?
So with these two suspects, do you know which one was inside the store and then which one was?
The one armed with a handgun is the one that entered the store.
And he did not get away with any
Correct.
money.
And can you say again who took the 20-year-old employee who was in the parking lot, who took her phone?
The second suspect. That was the one with the clown skeleton mask.
In the past, you guys have shared some pictures of.
Sure.
Of individuals with these masks. Was there arrests ever made in any of those, or could these be the same individuals? Or-
Well, again, like I said, our investigators look to see if possibly any cases are related as they continue to investigate. Captain Brent Allred is here, again, commander of the Person Crime with the Wichita Police Department, to talk about some arrests that we have made in robberies that have been reported recently. So I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Well, good morning. I'm Captain Brent Allred with the Wichita Police Department. This morning I want to talk about some recent robbery arrests that we've made. The first case occurred on Monday the 16th. This incident occurred in the 1700 block of South Cypress. A 25-year-old female victim was in her vehicle when 4 suspects approached her, one of them armed with a shotgun. They demanded her vehicle and some property, which she complied. The suspects got into her vehicle and took off. Officers did a great job. They were in the area and located the vehicle. They stopped the vehicle and the 4 suspects took off running from the vehicle. The officers were able to take these 4 individuals into custody and arrest them. We have since charged all 4 juveniles. There's 2 16-year-old males and 2 17-year-old males that have all been charged with aggravated robbery. There was also an incident on the 14th of July in the 2800 block of North Grove. This was a robbery from a person. One of the suspects that we arrested from the 1700 South Cypress incident is also going to be charged with aggravated robbery in regards to that incident also. There's 3 previous incidents, 6602 East Harry on the 29th of June, 6602 East Harry on the 6th of July, and 2000 South Chautauqua on July 11th. We have arrested an 18-year-old male for 2 counts of aggravated burglary, 3 counts of aggravated robbery, 1 count of aggravated battery, 1 count of burglary to auto, and 1 count of theft. We will also be charging a second 18-year-old male this week with 3 counts of aggravated robbery related to those 3 cases. So over this week, we've made several arrests on these robbery cases, as Officer Davison mentioned earlier today on the incident involving the 60-year-old female. The arrest in that was a 15-year-old male. and a 14-year-old female. My concern is, over the last week or two, the age that we've been seeing of these individuals being involved in these violent crime, these robberies, is a serious concern. What's leading up to these? I don't have a specific answer, but over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've also talked about auto thefts and firearms in vehicles and the accessibility when individuals steal vehicles and they have access to firearms. Were any of these cases related to vehicles being stolen and firearms? I can't tell you, but I can tell you that's a concern to us that we've been trying to report and get out to the media and the public over the last couple of weeks, and we're still seeing those cases happen. And we have to have firearm owners being more responsible with their weapons, especially in vehicles, and not leaving your vehicles unlocked and running where people can take them. Our clearance rate, or our robberies so far through June, we're still down about 12%, which is good, but as you can see, we're still having a number of those. But the success that we're having in making these arrests is not only on our part, but is also on the community's part by providing with some information on these cases, which is very beneficial. And we've been working with the district attorney's office on getting these cases charged. So that's all I have.
Any questions for the captain?
And it looks like you mentioned, auto thefts are up, actually. Is there anything, I guess, people should be aware of besides the guns, leaving guns in cars, but auto thefts?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think it's a little bit frustrating on our part because we try to get the message out that people are leaving keys in the cars, or leaving them running. They're stopping at convenience stores, and they're stopping in front of houses, and they're leaving their vehicles running. And it only takes a split second for someone to take that car. And if you have your personally owned firearm in that vehicle, I'd hate to be the person that owned that firearm and that be used in a homicide or some violent crime. So it's important that we continue to get that message out and people take responsibilities for the gun ownership of what they do with those guns and how they secure those guns in vehicles and in their home.
Is there any indication that any of these are gang involved, or?
I don't have that information. I'm not sure.
The first incident, I think, was it on Cypress where the young lady was approached?
Yes.
How long was it before they found her car?
They found it just shortly thereafter. The suspects were still in the vehicle, and the officers that were in the area looking for that vehicle actually located it. So within a minute, they located that vehicle. Suspects were still in it. When they stopped it, the suspects took off running from the vehicle.
What's the rate of, I guess, return if it's been 24 hours, if this vehicle's not found, what's the chances of them getting it back?
Of course, it decreases over time. Sometimes we'll find those vehicles, but finding out who's involved in those cases makes it a lot more difficult. But we use our lab. We'll process the vehicle for fingerprints and DNA and see what we can do, because these are a very violent crime and impact a lot of people. And so we want to use whatever resources we can to solve these cases. So it's a lot easier when we find these individuals fairly quickly and we're able to take them into custody, which, again, I commend the officers. They did a great job of, you're talking about some weapons being involved, a vehicle stop, suspects running, and they were able to take all of them into custody, which was great.
The U.S. Attorney recently announced more collaboration efforts between like ATF and police and Sheriff's Department. Were these investigations into these robberies and arrests, were those just police, or was there collaboration with other agencies?
This was just us, and these are juveniles, so there are certain places we can charge juveniles and certain places that we can't. But for example, the 18-year-olds that we've arrested, we will take a look at, is there a possibility of any federal charges? So maybe not on the front end on this, but maybe on the back end that we collaborate with them to get with them to see if there's a possibility that there's any federal charges that could come out of these cases.
On the four teenagers who were in the car with the shotgun, do you happen to know are you looking into where they got that shotgun?
We will take a look at that. sometimes we'll work with ATF to see if we can trace that firearm to see where it came from. What we've learned, what we found out, or what my opinion is a lot of these weapons are getting passed from one person to another person to another person, another person, and they're not hanging on to them very long, which creates a little bit of problem. We can trace back to where the firearm came from maybe a burglary or who owned it, or but in between sometimes is difficult for us. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Cap, appreciate it. So a lot of good work being done by your Wichita Police Department, and appreciate the help from the community. Again, just a reminder, if you see something, say something. If you see something suspicious, you see a crime in progress, or something you believe to be a crime in progress, again, be a good witness, call 911, get those detailed descriptions to our officers to help us investigate these violent crimes. And also just, be a responsible gun owner. If you don't leave it in your vehicle unattended, if you can take it in with you inside or wherever, take it with you. Use proper lock boxes, things of that nature. I know January through May we had 425 guns that were stolen from vehicles, and only about a quarter of those recovered. 102 were recovered, so about 25%. So again, just gun ownership, there comes a responsibility with it, and we just want to remind everybody to be a responsible gun owner and keep either the gun on your possession or locked in a lockbox, or if you can take it out of your vehicle and inside as well.
Yesterday, you talked about National Night Out.
Yes.
And how important is it for, obviously, police are gonna be out there in these neighborhoods.
Sure.
How important is it for these neighbors to get out and
Yeah.
to meet everybody, and, because it's been kind of violent this summer.
Yeah. Neighborhood Night Out, a good reminder. Thanks, Larry. Neighborhood Night Out is coming out Tuesday, August the 14th. Wichita Neighborhood Night Out. I know they have National Night Out is on the first Tuesday. However, Wichita, we celebrate and have an event on the second Tuesday, August the 14th, called Wichita Neighborhood Night Out. You can register your party so that first responders will know that you're having an event, and you would be able to register that, and first responders can attend. Just go to wichitapolice.com, go to forums, click on the down arrow, go to register your neighbor night out party. Now, reference Larry's question, yeah, it's neighborhood block parties is neighbors caring for neighbors. That's what it's all about, and so it's an opportunity to get out, get to know your neighborhood, get to know maybe somebody that's just moved in, or maybe you've had a very busy summer traveling and sports, but gives you an opportunity to take a pause one evening, get out, know your neighbors, and work together in combating violent crime or any crime in your neighborhood by watching each other's property, watching for suspicious behavior, knowing what is suspicious, what's not suspicious in your neighborhood, and then notifying our officers of that information.
Do you have any updates on that possible abduction?
I do not. Any updates on that, Captain? I know that we're still asking for the community to provide any information. We've put out the information that we have so far, but if anybody does have any information, call Crime Stoppers 267-2111. If they have any information, it's still an active investigation, trying to determine the circumstances of exactly what occurred.
That vehicle picture that you sent yesterday, was that from the original incident, or did you spot that vehicle again?
No, that picture was, they were able to trace that vehicle back to the crime scene, and so we wanted to make sure that was the best picture that we had, make sure that everybody had a good picture of what this vehicle looked like, and so that if they had any information or saw something in that area similar to this vehicle, they could notify us of that.
And then that Wichita couple who was found dead in Arkansas, is that something you guys are working and helping with?
It is a Great Bend. Great Bend police are leading the investigation on that. I know the victims were from Wichita, so we have assisted just from their request very minimally, but we are not investigating anything here.
Back to firearms in vehicles.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have any data on how many of those are happening, like out in front of a house, or at the mall, at a business, or, somewhere?
I don't have that with me. I'm sure we can probably break it down. It would take some time for us to break that information down, but I don't have it currently with me. Yeah. Anything else? Do you have anything else, Kevin?
It's just my phone.
Oh! Hello.
Yeah.
All right. All right, anything else this morning? All right, appreciate everybody being here on Thursday, and I hope you have a safe day today. Thank you.